Hello, statistics student. This video is for chapter 1.3. We are continuing with frequency distribution. In part 1, we talks about how to find relative frequency and also some rounding techniques, and also some terms of what is the frequency distribution is. So basically, the first column is the classes of class range, and then the frequency would be how many data is in this range. So the relative frequency allow us to look at the counts as a percentage of the whole, right? So to find the relative frequency, we would need to first find the total frequency. That means how many data there are. For example, in this particular one, someone has classified the data into this range, these classes already. So we just need to know how many total data there are by adding all the frequencies. So 11 plus 24 plus 10 plus 3 plus 2, that is plus 5. That's 50. So grand total is 11. 50 is a good number. So when we do the relative frequencies, it will be 11 over 50. And that's 22%, right? Oh, actually, we do not need any rounding because this is a good number. So relative frequency would be 24 over 50. That is 48%. This is 20%. 3 over 50, you go to 6%. Yeah, I can do mental math with it. So that is 4%. And you can see that when you add these together, they are 100%. So now cumulative frequency talks about how many are there cumulatively speaking. That means what is all the numbers in the first class. So the description for this class is not just 25 minus 24. 75 to 124 is less than 125. So all of these are less than 125. You do not say less than 124 because 124 is this class. So it's less than 125, which is the beginning of the next class. So that would be just the when we say cumulative frequency is just the frequency. So it's 11. That's 11 in the first class. What about the second? The second, or how many are less than 175? So we say less than 175. So it would be the first two, right? So these are less than 175. These are also less than 175. You add 11 plus 24, that is 35. And then the next one will be less than 225, and that would be the first three. So you just cumulate from the low to the high. So 11 plus 24 plus 10, that is 45. What's the next one? Is less than 275. So all the first four classes are less than 245. So 11 plus 24 plus 10 plus 3. And then what is less than? All of these are less than 325 because 325 is larger than the highest number. And that is exactly 50. So these are useful if someone asks, what is percentage? Or you can actually do a cumulative percentage also, cumulative relative frequency also. So that's how you do relative frequency and cumulative frequency. It is useful when we want to ask questions about how many percentage is within a range or how many percentage is less than a number, greater than a number. The next topics is something that is optional. That is, if I actually have the data, you see how earlier we don't see the data. Someone has done the tallying for us. We just build this two extra table entry. If I have some raw data, how can I create a frequency distribution from scratch? So there's two ways of doing it. You can do it by hand. You can do it by here. Use a calculator called social science frequency distribution calculator. Okay, so I'm going to briefly go over it because I am not going to test this. Because actually summarizing it in a table is not very necessary. Nowadays, most people summarize data into graph. So the more popular way is to summarize them into graph. But going through this, you can understand the summary process. So this is a the same data that I have over there, and I want to show you doing it by hand. So just usually we would, if someone don't tell you, sometimes you would actually know um, what you um, want to start a class first, right? So you need to know your classes, and then you will need to do the tallying, right? Like put the 111 over there, and this is the count frequency. So when you do it by hand, that's what you do. First of all, you will look at where you start. Lowest class limit is your class starts, right? It does not necessarily start at the lowest number in the data. So what you do is they say, well, usually we want to start with a nice number, so like 20 or 21. So our lowest number I think is 22. So the lowest. You could start at 22, but it is not like a good boundary. So we'll start at 20. And then class width. Class width is 10 means in each class differ by 10. So we build all the lower limit first. 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. How much do I have to go? What is the highest number? Oh, I see it, 83. This could be the highest number. So if I go up to 80, that would be sufficient because my upper class limit would be, what should I do? Should I do 30? No, I do 29 because this is a number that's just less than 30. You see how you build all the lower limit and then you build 39? What is lower? What is just less than 50 is 49. What is just less than 60 is 59. And if there is decimal number, then you do 29.9 or something. It so it depends on your data for your upper limit. Your upper limit can have decimal places if your data has decimal places. 59, 79. No, this is 69. And this is 79, and this is 89. And we can see that it include our highest number, include our lowest number, so that should be good. So that's how you do it by hand. Now you do tally. So what you do is you would just look at, okay, 22 belongs to this class. You do 1 mark, 42 is here, 29 is here. So that's what you do. 61 is in the 60, 33. You get the idea. And then after you do all the tallying, you write down the number, and there you have the frequency distribution. You can see that it actually record the data. You summarize the data. So this is a summary. Okay, summarize. You no longer see all this data, but you see that in this range I have how many. In this range I have how many. Okay. Of course, doing it by hand is kind of difficult. It is possible if it is small data set, but if it is a large data set, it may make sense to do it with technology. And there's a calculator out there that you can do. So what is the calculator does? Is the calculator is the social science. Oh, actually I can copy the link over here, or actually I can just Google social science, no, social statistic. I think social science statistics frequency distribution, something like that. It would shows up. So okay, social science calculator statistic, but frequency, right? So frequency table. And so this would be the frequency. It's called a frequency table calculator. The bad thing about this calculator is there's a lot of ads. So you have to copy your data over here. I type the data in a column, and if you don't want to, you can enter it one by one. But I pre input it into a column, and then so I can copy it easily. Control V. You can see that one data per column, 20, okay. And then what you do is you do generate. The data set is actually quite high. Now, so you have a like a first too many ads. You have a first run of the frequency distribution table, but you can see that it does not adhere to what we want. They just by default they do 20 to 33. And so all the classes range are not as good as what we want. So this is not, it is a frequency table, but the class range are, not what we want. So how do we do it? We would say specify class range. Okay. And then we say, I don't want this class range of 20 to 33. Or I don't want 20 and then jump to 34. I want 20. Every jump is 10, right? So I want 10. And then you can also look at your lowest class value. Do you want 20? Yes, we want start from 20 with the. Now they do not use the word class width. They use class range, but actually they're talking about width. Okay, so specify the lowest value, specify range. Now, when they do the default, they have 5 classes also. But when we make the class range smaller, you should have more classes, right? So let's just randomly say 10. Because the worst comes to worst, we can, cut it back later. And then I think we say added frequency table. Did they change? Yeah. You press added frequency table. So that means you want to change it by with a new setup. So you can see that it is not now all done without and they actually do the percentage, which is the relative frequency. So they should get a percent here. So from 20 to 29, there are 4 counts, 30 to 39, there are 7 counts, etc. And the last 3 classes has 0. So we can actually just cut it to 7, right? And then just do added frequency table. Don't do generate. Generate would bring you back to the resets. So when you say added frequency table, that would do it. So this is the frequency table that you get. So I have a calculator and also I had a videos on how to do it in another video. Okay. But I don't test this. So it's just something that I just tell you so that you can get a feeling as to what the frequency distribution is about. Is a summary of the original data. The data 11, 24 are not the actual data. The actual data is like 75 here, right? Okay, so we did that. So this is what we have. Now, we want to practice more on calculating relative frequency and cumulative frequency. Did I do that yet? Oh, not yet. Okay, so we have a table, the sibling table. So we would just need to do a relative frequency. Just put it here. And then I want to do a cum frequency. Now, for cum frequency, it should have a different class, but people understand what a cum frequency is, so we don't need to. So first of all, add this together. What is it? 8 plus 12 plus 5 plus, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Plus 5. So it's 30. And so the relative frequency will be 8 over 30, and that would equal to 8 over 30. And if I do want to do rounding, it will be 26.7%. Okay. 12 over 30.4, so it's 40%. 5 over 30, so 5 over 30. It will be 16.7%. We would just use 1 decimal place. 2 over 30. Oh, 2 over 30. 0.06, so 6.7%. 1 decimal place of a percent. 1 over 30, I think it's 3.3%, right? Because that's half of it. So this is also 3.3. The last is 3.3%. So when you add these, they might not be 100% due to rounding, but it should be close to 99 or 101%. Q frequency would be all the things that's less than 1, that is 8. And the less than 2 will be 12 plus x is 20. Less than 3 would be 12 plus 8 plus 5, So it's 25. And then the less than 4 would be